3, 2, 1. It's showtime! It's showtime!
And now, broadcasting from the Valley Truck Commander studio at PayneAutoGroup.com, this is News Talk 710 KURV, and this is The Drive Home, an interactive show where you call in with your comments and questions. Call in now at 1-800-580-8255. That's 1-800-580-TALK. Buckle up. The second hour of The Drive Home on News Talk 710 KURV begins now.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's 5:10 on News Talk 710 KURV. Roxanne Garcia and Zach Cantu filling in for Davis Rankin.
Best of us for the rest of us.
Thank you so much for being with us, Zach. I appreciate it. So what are you getting this year for Christmas?
The same thing I get every year.
Which is?
Bat.
You know, I think we all are, Zach. Every day this week, I've had something when I get to work, something sweet, Mr. Honeycutt, pop on my desk. It's either pan dulce, which is some type of Mexican sweet bread, Ferrero Rocher chocolates, cookies, sweet bread, all these things that every time I get here to work, that's on my desk, and I'm thinking, oh my word, how am I going to lose weight if this keeps on popping up? And I was thinking, well, it's the holidays, and it's the time where everyone isn't really thinking about eating healthy. Or, the Starbucks cups and all that stuff, all those drinks that are being offered us this holiday season. So I thought, why not call someone who is a fitness expert and a diet expert as well? He can give us some pointers and some tips on how to not, overindulge, or how to just be safe when it comes to those holiday treats that are offered to us all the time around this season. So joining us is Warren Honeycutt. He is a diet and exercise expert. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Roxanne. It's going to take me probably a full 30 minutes of silence to get past all of that sugar consumption in the station there today. I'm sorry.
It's horrible. I kid you not, Mr. Honeycutt.
Mr. Honeycutt, you don't understand.
3 days in a row.
You don't understand. It's the season of giving, Roxanne.
Monday I get here. I'm sorry. Well, I get here Tuesday, but there was things from Monday too. There was a bag for me on my desk, a Ferrero Rocher box, full of chocolates.
Yeah.
And then I got another bag with the sugar cookies, chocolate-covered pretzels, and then today there's another tray of just sweet bread, and I'm just thinking, oh my word, I want to lose weight, but I can't, because working here in the station, they're always offering these sweets, and it's really hard. Another thing that we want to talk about is those sugary and those holiday coffee drinks that are being offered at Starbucks, because I was reading just one of those coffee drinks contains more sugar and calories than what you're supposed to intake pretty much in a day.
Oh, yes. Yes, actually there was a recent study of a multiple number of chains that have the holiday drinks, coffee, places in particular. And I was a little staggered by one that is 16 ounces, and I won't call the name of the place, but it had almost 800 calories in it. And unfortunately, 800 calories of protein or even good fats is one thing. When 400 calories comes in the form of pure sugar, it's another as it relates to our waistlines.
Well, for example, Zach brought us a double-shot energy drink from Starbucks, and I'm looking at the calorie count. It's 200 calories, but it's 26 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
And this is on top of the 2 other coffee drinks I've had already today, Mr. Honeycutt. So
she's addicted.
I'm addicted to coffee. So for us, caffeine addicts, what would be a good replacement for us if we want to kind of cut back on the coffees?
Now, Roxanne, the coffee is not bad.
It's the sugar
not the coffee.
and the creamer.
The coffee actually is a good drink, and there's multiple studies that show health benefits from coffee in and of itself. The problem comes in when you start throwing all of the added sugars in the syrups, and a lot of the sugars are hidden. Fortunately, most of them now at least give you the breakdown of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and you at least can see prior to consuming what you're about to do to your body with the sugar. And the coffee in and of itself, and I drink coffee in the mornings. I don't drink it in the afternoons because, I want to go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is you certainly can enjoy coffee. You can enjoy cream, even whole cream, certainly half and half, and even a couple of teaspoons of sugar is not going to be what that one I referred to a while ago, which had 24 teaspoons in a 16-ounce cup. And now, even a better alternative is the artificial sweeteners, and the one that I use, which is not an artificial sweetener at all, is stevia. And stevia is great. I understand, Roxanne, the sweet tooth I've had a sweet tooth ever since I was a kid. And I was a fat kid, and I was a fatter teenager. And when I was like 16, I made some decisions in regard to health and fitness, and got away from a lot of the sugar addiction that I used to be plagued with every day. But the thing being, you can substitute. You don't have to deny the sweet tooth. And the stevia is what I like for this reason. It's all natural. It doesn't spike insulin or blood sugars, and it is 600 times sweeter than sugar. So that's where a lot of people, when I recommend stevia, and they turn their nose up and go, I don't like that stuff because it leaves an aftertaste and bitter. Well, when it's 600 times sweeter than sugar, you just need a little teeny bit to equal a tablespoon. So, the alternatives, certainly substitutions, if that or just what I mentioned isn't a good way to go, and you just can't do it at the holiday season, then at least ask them to put the low-fat whipped cream on top of the drinks that they usually do, or leave it off, or do the sugar-free syrups, which adds so much in the sweetness. And I was on an interview yesterday, and the hostess said, well, it's Christmas, doggone it, I just don't want to not do that. I said, well, try to cut it down then, and rather than a 16-ounce, do 8 ounce. And you can drink the whole thing. Yeah. And she said, well, I like that sugar. I said, understand. And, there's nothing wrong with moderation. And you're not going to sacrifice your waistline when you do it in a moderate form, and you have to counterbalance with exercise if you don't want to gain, the added weight. Mm-hmm. And I will say this, through the holiday season, most people think that, and some people do, but most people think everybody gains 10, 15 pounds. In reality, what goes on is over the Thanksgiving holidays, we generally put on the scale 4 or 5 pounds because of the added sugar, but in reality, 90% of that, 4 of the 5 pounds, would be water, because high sugar foods makes the body retain water. Yeah. And you get away from those, that weight goes away in 2-3 days. So we don't want to get down on ourselves if we've had a piece of pecan pie and eat that way for the entire month of December.
That has been me. Joining us on 710 KURV is Warren Honeycutt. He's a diet and fitness expert.
Putting it into perspective, Mr. Honeycutt, how long would it take to burn off, say, 26 grams of sugar?
Well, that would be, 26 grams is 100 calories, and, in a HIIT, high-intensity interval training, you could burn it off during that exercise period, Zach, as well as the afterburn, which you burn more calories when you get your circulatory and respiratory system moving. It wouldn't take over 5-6 minutes.
I was about to say that.
So how long is it?
Well, sorry, Zach, because you, Mr. Honeycutt, you mentioned high-intensity interval training, and I mean, oh my gosh, I sometimes do that. My boyfriend is a trainer, so he makes me do these things, and I dread it because of how it's 10 minutes, but I'm sweating and my heart rate's, spiking. So sorry, Zach.
And your metabolism stays up, Roxanne, for several hours after that. It's not just the 100, 150, 200 calories you burn in that 10 minutes. It's the 300, 400, 500 calories that you burn in the 3-4 hours after you do that. And you're right, it is intense, and for 10 minutes, it's let's say borderline uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It hurts.
But
let's be honest, it hurts.
Before I lose my train of thought, what's a good recommended sugar count for the day?
Sugar what, Zach?
Sugar count.
I really would recommend that no one take in more than 40 to 50 grams a day.
Wow.
And unfortunately,
Ideally, right. But what's a realistic goal?
Well, unfortunately, what we do now, Zach, as a culture, and these are real numbers, they're from the USDA, most people will consume 160 to 180 pounds of sugar a year. And I just figured that up prior to this interview because I wanted to be able to share it with everybody. That's a rough about 200 grams of sugar a day, 800 calories.
Whoa.
And that's average. Some people do a little less. Some people, according to this study, USDA again, it's not me pulling stuff out of my hat, consume a pound a day. And the result of that is not only expanded waistlines, but the health problems associated with it. And I could go on for 15 minutes on what that does as far as the health. So I'll just stop and say it affects the health in a very negative way.
It's safe to say diabetes then, right?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. And actually, Zach, a lot of people don't know this, but if they'll study it, very easy to study with Google these days, every cancer that you can name is associated with sugar.
No way.
No, yeah, I was watching, there was a documentary out there, Mr. Honeycutt, that talked about what sugar does to the brain. It's kind of the same thing what cocaine does to the brain. I mean, I didn't get to watch it, but it's just, that's amazing. Joining us on 710 KURV is Warren Honeycutt. He is a diet and exercise expert. Mr. Honeycutt, earlier you were talking about how growing up as a kid, you were considered yourself chubby, and even, as a teenager. So what do you recommend us that want to make that jump start to lose weight, but just can't really find the motivation, because I'm one of them? What would you tell us? And Zach and I we're younger, we're millennials, but then what would you tell those that are, younger and also older?
The only choice we ever make in regard to a decision, and I say this all the time, all of us wish for things. Wishing changes nothing. A decision changes everything. And the only reason a person will make a decision that creates a lifestyle change, Roxanne, is mentally to paint on the screen of your mind enough pain associated with your current behavior that you want to get away from it, and then concentrate on the pleasure that you will have when you do. I.e., myself, when I was 16, I looked in the mirror and saw what everybody else was looking at, and I go, that hurts.
No,
I don't like that, the way I look. I didn't think about the health aspects, though, looking back now, I'm 63 in February, and I'm in perfect health, no medications. And I give all of that credit to not great genetics, but a great lifestyle. And I would encourage anyone to look at the why. The how is easy. It truly is. I could give you in a couple of sentences the way to lose weight and keep it off. The how is easy. The hard part is the why. Why do I want to do this? And why do I want to make a change? Because without having that clearly in your mind, you're putting willpower against a subconscious habit that is created over years and years and years. Even if you're 15 or 16, it's been 15 or 16 years. And you have to be able to motivate yourself with the why, which is big enough that you stay consistent with it. And no one wants to, even though most people do, lose 10 pounds and gain 12.
Yeah, the yo-yo dieting.
Mr. Honeycutt.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what's a good fitness goal to have? I mean, in my exception, I don't want to be Mr. Universe. I just want to look like I don't have boobs.
Gotcha. and most people don't want to look like Mr. Universe and Mr. America at all, from the male standpoint.
What's a good way to go about fitness, without going crazy? You know what I mean? I don't want to take the extra powders and supplements and all that stuff that a lot of the bodybuilders take. I just want to look like, I'm not a C cup.
Oh, Zach.
Zach, you can do that, seriously. 30 minutes, 3 times a week with resistance training is the best thing in the world as it relates to tone, trim, and shape muscle. And then follow that with 15 minutes, just 3 times a week, with aerobic of some type. And Roxanne mentioned HIIT a while ago. That's the best one. But if you don't want to go that intense, you can get on a treadmill and walk at a very fast clip for 15 minutes and burn the fat. And you take 45 minutes 3 times a week, and you can be fit, trim, and feel better and look better.
Mr. Honeycutt, oh my word, I'm sorry for interrupting you. There are just so many questions that I still have, but we're short on time. Hopefully we can do it again next time. For example, I want to ask you, I know a lot of people think that it's just exercise without it actually being the diet part, because I know people sometimes think if I don't eat a lot, I'll lose weight. But people need to understand, in my opinion, that if you're looking to lose weight and eat healthy and exercise, you cannot look at the calories. You can't restrict yourself from eating, because that can also be harmful for you. And
no. Yeah, you do not want to starve yourself to lose weight. It will not work very long.
Oh,
and
man.
one of the things I say all the time in speaking engagements and whatever opportunity I have to teach, exercise is king, nutrition is queen. Put them together, you have a great kingdom called life. That's a quote from my hero, Jack LaLanne, of years and years ago. It does take both. You cannot over-exercise bad eating habits.
And
it does take both.
For those that want to know more about great eating habits and exercise, they can go to your website, right, which is getlean.guru?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
And
anything else you want to say, Mr. Honeycutt?
Well, just that the site gives opportunity for a newsletter, which we put out every week to 10 days, and multiple holiday menus are on there, and we're adding stuff all the time. So, I would welcome any visitors. And anytime you guys would like to come back and delve into more questions, just let me know, and I'll make arrangements.
I have a ton of questions, but thank you so much, Mr. Honeycutt. That's Warren Honeycutt. He is a diet and exercise expert. Thank you for joining us on 710 KURV.
Thank you, guys. Have a great Christmas.
You too.
Bye.